A mitre saw is a large saw that is used to make perfect bevel cuts and crosscuts. It has a backsaw or a circular saw blade mounted. It uses the mounted spinning saw blade to make quick, short, and ordered motions. It makes it easy to cut woods faster at selected angles. It can also be referred to as a power mitre. Another name for it is the drop saw. Because of its large size, it is mounted on a workbench. Therefore, you have to take the wood to the workbench to cut. It is also known as a mitre saw outside the United States. How to use a mitre saw. Making bevel cuts or mitre cuts without the appropriate tool is time-consuming and tedious. And apart from that, the work will not look neat and professional. But once you use a mitre saw for it, it becomes easier, faster, and neater. Here is the guide you need as a new user to successfully make a neat cut. 1. Choose the size and type of mitre saw needed. Firstly, you need to decide what size and type of mitre saw you need for the work. There are different types of mitre which will be explained later. There are also different types of blades for different types of materials. So, it is important to know what suits the work you want to do. 2. Decide the power of the mitre you need. The wood or any other you wish to cut have various levels of toughness. Therefore, you need to get a mitre saw that has enough horsepower. This is to ensure that it is strong enough to handle the type of cut intended. Horsepower means power of the machine. 3. Set up your workbench. The mitre saw needs a comfortable workbench that it must be set upon. This workbench needs to be balanced. It also needs to have enough space for the material you are cutting. 4. Read the user's manual. If the machine comes with a user's manual, it will be wise to go through it. You can get information on the safety precautions to take. It will also tell you the safety gear to put on. Another information that you can get there is the electrical requirements of the machine. This is to prevent any electrical damage to the machine. 5. Know the parts of the machine. You must know the various parts of the machine. These parts include 1. The angle indicator. 2. The angle scale. Both are located at the front of the saw bed. 3. Trigger or power switch. 4. The lock mechanism. There are some other features that mitre saws come with, but they vary according to the type you are using. Some other features which are not common parts are 1. Laser guide. 2. Locking clamps for securing the working material. 3. Saw tilt scale. 6. Unlocking the saw. Get familiar with the saw by raising and lowering the saw many times. This will help you understand the path that the blade takes as it saws on the material. This will help prevent any mistakes or accidents when you start to cut. 7. Power up and cut. Connect the saw to a power outlet suitable for it. It is a good idea to cut with a scrap material before cutting with the main one. Keep your hand away from the saw path while cutting. 8. Try out various angles with the scrap material. This is probably your first time using the mitre saw. Therefore, you need to do a little practice. This is to help you get the hang of the machine before working on the material. With your scrap material, try to cut at various angles. See how easily mitre saws can make angled cuts. To form a joint, cut at half of the angle that the joint will form when joined. Let us take for example you want to make a 90 degrees square corner. Cut two ends of the materials at an opposite 45 degrees angle. When joined, the two will form a 90 degrees corner. 9. Practice and practice. Continue practicing with your scrap material. Stop only when you are comfortable with your handling of the saw. Also, test the different features that your saw comes with. Make use of the various adjustments and speed. Once you have mastered how to handle the mitre saw, then you are good to go. Go ahead and start the work you need to be done. Using a mitre saw is quite easy and fun. But always observe all the safety rules. Safety tips. Although the mitre saw is a very simple machine to use, it is still a powerful machine. If the safety rules are not followed, it could maim you or the people around you. Some of the safety tips are as follows. 1. Always keep the power machine unplugged whenever it is not in use. This is also applicable when you are changing the blade. 2. Your fingers must not be closer than 6 inches to the path the blade is cutting. Although some saws indicate the danger area that your hand must not go beyond. 3. Always wear your earplug and safety glasses whenever you are operating the machine. 4. Do not put your hand anywhere near the blade whenever it is spinning. 5. Allow the blade to completely stop whenever you finish each cut before you lift it. 6. Never operate the saw if the blade is not covered by the safety cover. What is the mitre saw used for? For your work to have a professional look, you need to use the right tools. This will enable you to achieve your set target and do that with ease. When doing woodwork, there are many tools required to achieve your desired goal. A mitre saw is a special tool that can help you make those special cuts. It will be difficult to achieve such cuts with a circular saw. Furthermore, it is easy to use equipment for anybody. Its ability to cut at perfect angles and give good mitre cut has made it remain relevant. A mitre saw is relevant in many ways. A mitre saw can be used to make a regular crosscut. It reduces the difficulty of cutting woods or boards. With the mitre saw mounted on a mitre table, it gives you a stable platform to work. There is no worry about the saw shifting. Another importance of the mitre saw is that it is a powerful machine. And for that reason, it can cut through any type of material. In addition to that, it can easily cut at a perfect line without any mistake. This is because you can see where the blade will cut easily. More so, it makes the cutting of mitres very easy. A mitre saw cuts at a diagonal angle at varying degrees. Finally, with its circular saw, you can make bevel cuts and complex angle cuts. Types of mitre saw. 1. Standard mitre saw. This type of mitre has limited ability. It can only cut 90 degrees or 45 degrees. It is mostly relevant for angled cuts and perfect for molding. This type of mitre saw is the most common type for domestic work. 2. Compound mitre saw. A compound mitre saw can rotate its blade at varying angles. It creates an inclined angled cut on the sides of the material. This gives it more freedom for other complex cuts. You can use it to make angles of more than 90 degrees and other complex cuts. It's much more convenient than the basic saw. The compound mitre saw does not limit the things you can do. It allows for much more innovation and creativity. But of course, it is more expensive. 3. Sliding mitre saw. The sliding mitre saw has the same ability as the standard mitre saws. But it has an added feature, which is a rail. This rail allows it to slide back and forth. This gives it a wider reach to cut more expanse on the board. It can expand up to 12 to 16 inches. This is more than double the reach of the other mitre saws. 4. Sliding compound mitre saw. This type of mitre saw combines all the benefits of the compound and sliding mitre. It can be used to make varying crosscuts and angles. At the same time, it gives you a long reach to make cuts on wide boards. 5. Double compound mitre saw. This type is much more complex than all other types of the mitre saw. It can be bent either to the right or to the left. This makes it possible to cut at any angle you wish to cut much more easily. If you've enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button below and hit the notification bell so you'll know once we post a new video. Also, drop a comment below so we can know your thoughts. Finally, don't forget to check the description below for more details and visit our site, www.zimsaws.com for more awesome saw content like this.